Thank you for being here and taking my question. I'm here representing HiCop.org, which is a grassroots organization trying to reduce tour helicopter noise over our homes. This is a 40-year problem that just keeps getting worse. And we're getting tired of listening to the FAA and the National Park Service saying they really can't do anything about it. Now Hawaii Volcanoes National Park leads the nations in overflights. And to that end, HiCop.org proposed an offshore route where the helicopters could go offshore and then come in on the ocean side into the lava areas where they want to go. And so far, we have not heard any response from the helicopter pilot companies. So my question is to you, can you please encourage them to maybe voluntarily try this one more time, to voluntarily accept that, and failing that, failing the regulatory agencies have completely failed here, and voluntary agreements have not worked at all. And Congresswoman Patsy Mink had it right in 1993 when H.R. 1696 was proposed to regulate the airspace over the national park. It never made it out of the committee. And my question to you, please, is would you consider reintroducing that bill?
Thank you very much. Thank you I know there's a lot of folks here who share your concern about this, and I've spoken with some of your local legislators here as well already who are working to try to address this issue. My chief of staff, along with, I know Mazie Hirono's chief of staff, I think there may have been the other members of the federal delegation there, had a meeting with National Park Service and FAA in particular to talk about this issue, as well as some of the helicopter companies. And this, Senator Kai Kahele has been very outspoken on this, as well as others here on Hawaii Island. You're right, there were no answers given at that meeting, just a lot of problems and challenges and obstacles. But we have to find a way to work through this. I know that one of the pushbacks that was given of the flights over the ocean is that only one company, I believe Blue Hawaii, has the required safety equipment to land on water in an emergency, and the other companies do not. So I can imagine they would probably be opposed to that idea. But regardless, there has to be a workable solution brought forward for the community here. And one thing that's been a proposed idea that I think makes sense is for the FAA to appoint a local task force leader to address and be the point person on this issue, to be that conduit between the companies, the helicopter companies, the community, the National Park Service, as well as the local elected officials, to find a solution. Because the status quo clearly has been going on for far too long and has gotten out of hand. So we're going to continue to work and engage on this issue. We have been in touch now for the last several months, when some folks came and approached me directly to say, hey, we need you to get on board with this. And so we're going to continue that engagement and look forward to working with you folks in that. Thank you.
Storm Steger. Is Storm here? Oh, okay. Well, I know quite a few of you have this question, so.
Aloha, Senator. Thank you for coming here. Really appreciate you taking my question. And we have a real long-term problem here on this island with the tour helicopter noise, and it's just driving us crazy. And for 40 years, there's been lots of voluntary agreements and regulatory action to no real relief. And my question to you is, what can you do legislatively for us to try to solve this situation once and for all?
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, I am in touch with Senator Kai Kahele, Representative Onishi, and others who have been working with you to try to come up with a solution set. My staff has been working very hard on this. The thing that I don't want to do is come up with a magic solution that is not so magical that will not end up getting implemented. So let me just say it this way. I understand the severity of this thing. I understand how difficult it makes everybody's, not everybody's, but the people who are most impacted by it, makes your daily life. I've now asked the FAA to convene a process. I know Richard and Kai and others are also trying to convene a process. I'm also looking at what they did in LA and what Chuck Schumer was able to do in New York to come to essentially first a voluntary resolution, and then they codified it in FAA rules. But one of the things that I told my staff before this town hall and the one I did on Oahu yesterday is, like, I'm not going to play stump the champ. I'm not going to pretend. If I don't know the answer to something, I'm not going to razzle-dazzle you with some sort of jargon. I'm going to tell you that I'm working on it, and I am. But this one, as you know, is hard because of jurisdictional challenges. And so what I can tell you is that my office is going to prioritize this. We're going to work with you. We're going to tell you what we think is possible, what we think is not. But I know this is not a trivial thing. I mean, depending on the wind, if I happen to get, airplanes or helicopters above my house just a few times a day, it's like maddening. And I know it ain't a few times a day for you guys. It's sort of incessant. So we are working on it. But at the risk of not satisfying you in this moment, I really don't want to give you an answer that I can't follow through on. So we are working on it. We're waiting on a response from the FAA on what they think the next few steps might be. The report I got back was that it was unsatisfactory, and I'll follow up accordingly, and we'll be in touch with all of you, and I assume we're sort of in communication by email or by phone. So.
Yeah, I represent HiCop.org, and we have a proposal where offshore route, if they were to just go a mile off and go into the national park over the water, not over our homes.
Right.
And if I'd like to show signs that show how many people are affected by this. And at my house, I had 200 helicopters in 4 hours overflights, 254 in one day. Yeah. And I think I was traumatized. My whole family was traumatized. And this whole thing just kind of keeps going on and on. And we need to solve this problem for once and for all.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
living in a war zone.
Yeah.
It is. It's insane.
So thank you. I get it, and I will follow up. I just don't want to pretend I have a ready answer when I don't.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Phil Barnes, Judy Summer.